I'll say thanks everyone for calling. We have on the call with us Pam Koczman from U of M's OSCH, and we have Eric Alec from our plant operations. So both of them are very familiar with this technology. Since our last call, which was in September, we've received some new requirements from ISEA, and they came in a document. Let's see if I can show you what the document is. Every week ANSI produces this document called Standards Action, and when there are intermediate types of changes that a organization wants to make, and I'll go here and find it to you, they're posted here. So this is where we found this out, and so what they're asking, what's different now is that they're making an adjustment to what was already posted. Now, this is what we were reviewing and we cast our ballot on. So this is the actual document. Because of copyright issues, I'm not allowed to distribute this. But in any case, what I've tried to show you here is that they have taken just a small part of this document, and if you can get closer, I remember if you can get closer, you can see weekly. Is this large enough for you guys to see this?
Yeah, I can see it.
Pam?
See it, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Control, if you hit the control and scroll your mouse, it'll make it bigger.
Control and scroll my mouse. Oh, look at that. Thank you, Pam. Look at
Magic.
Magic. Anyway, so so this is coming at us in a way that now, whether this was an oversight, I don't know. I don't know enough about the ISA process. We will be contesting it, and you take the longer view on this. So in light of the fact that this started out as a U of M driven a U of M driven idea originating from our hospital system, and we carried it to APA, and we've given the APA membership plenty of time. Most of them are all copied on these emails. Nobody's asked not to be on the emails, and I'm guessing that many of them simply can't make the regular calls. So long story short, this is new, and I don't think I want to get too contentious about why it came as a late addition. The things happen.
Those are for the self-contained unit.
Right, I see that. Right.
Yeah.
So
this is flushing fluid. It has nothing to do with all the thousands of regular water system ones. Yeah.
Okay, good. So what I've done here, yellow. So I just have some questions to ask, and so with the self-contained units, if you're supposed to drain them, does this draw down the flushing water every time if you test them every week? And the self-contained.
You don't test them.
You what?
You don't test them.
You don't test them.
No.
But
no, in fact, there are tasks there. I don't know of many self-contained ones myself at all, but there may be ones outside the general fund campus. But yeah, you wouldn't test it. Now, when they say check to see if the fluid needs to be changed, what does that mean?
Well, they'll come with an expiration date.
Oh,
the
okay.
fluid is only good for so long.
Yeah, but
they only guarantee it for so long.
But to look at it weekly is absurd, because your database should show when they expire. So it just doesn't mean anything. It just doesn't mean anything,
Exactly. I mean, we dissuade from using those because we've had people ask, because they didn't want to put the plumbing in, but the answer typically is no.
well, what they're asking us now shall be visually checked weekly to determine. Let's go back to our language here again. Let me use that. If I do that, let me see if I can do that. Look at that. I'm good at that now. So shall be visually checked weekly. Visually check weekly. So this is not one where you're actually having to draw fluid down. It's just a visual check.
Right.
Yeah, which conceptually.
But it'd be kind of like looking for the expiration tag, which is absurd to do on a weekly basis. I mean, that just doesn't make sense. So.
But that's what's here now. If our argument here is that if eyewashes were the only risk we had to deal with, then we could do this according to specification. But I've got transfer switches that I don't have money to test.
My point is, why would you do it weekly if you know the expiration date? And if the only thing you're doing is checking for the expiration date, then it doesn't make any sense then you'd have a list of them all and then it'd just have the expiration date on them. You wouldn't have to check them weekly. I mean, why would you check them weekly?
I mean, you might have to check to make sure it's not been used or not leaked out, but
Yeah.
that really, weekly seems a little much.
Yeah. Okay.
And that, again, would fall back to the group, who has it installed.
Right, if they operate it, they should notify.
Exactly, they should.
You should.
Should.
Well, I asked if there was any active log of activation of emergency showers, and everybody says no, probably because people play with them. So.
I don't know that people play with them, but we don't get notified of that.
I know, that's too bad. But, okay.
Okay. Well, does this, or under our marching orders is to contest this. So it's not just this. It's the weekly testing general. And that's been established as a university position by U of M Hospital, and they were the drivers for this. And internally, Pam, I believe this was run by your boss, or if there's 4 or 5, maybe 6 different groups within U of M that are dealing with this, my marching orders was to advance the challenge to this. Our challenges were largely on the basis of bacterial issues, but if you go back and look at the statements from ISEA, I won't do that now, but they say, well, we're just looking for mechanical reliability, and which is a fair point. Now, ASHI, Chad Beebe and John Flannery were supposed to be on these calls. I understand that everyone is busy and stretched thin, et cetera, et cetera. So they were going to bring new research as far as mechanical availability. So I'll press them a bit on that. And the other action, so we'll see where that goes. So we'll enter their appeals process. We'll get new data from ASHI, and then our intention is to now approach JCO, even the state. Pam, this probably falls into your area. We would present a letter, and we'd be challenging, asking the state to relax this requirement in some installations. That's the program at the moment. So whether or not we want to talk about that in a publicly available teleconference, it's recorded. That's separate. But this is approach that we can take. So we're hoping that. Go ahead.
When you look at how MIOSHA would do, how they do their inspections, how their inspectors are directed to do their work, that's a non-issue. So I think we might be raising something because that's not something that they look at as the frequency at this point in time. So to raise it to them seems like it might not be a good idea.
Doesn't MIOSHA refer to the ISEA standard as a default?
They do, but when you look at the directives to their inspectors, that is not there. When the university got cited it'll be 3 years ago in housing for eyewashes, that was not part of the agreement. How the flushing frequency was not part of anything that was discussed. It was not brought up. So typically, it's better to not talk about something than to bring it to their attention.
Okay.
And
maybe that's an approach that your boss, Terry, may want to take. So regardless, to the degree to which U of M will assert its interests using the weight of the other like-minded institutions, we can calibrate that going forward. It is always good to encourage new data, however, and so I can do this much. So I may well just approach Bob Harris and see where he wants to go with that, but I'm grateful for your insight to that process. I'm glad you were there.
Okay.
So I guess then this will be short and sweet. I send this out to many organizations. I'm trying to think if I could show you all the organizations. if you look on the email list, you'll see that there must be the better part of 50 there, and nobody says not to be on this list. So I'm to take it that they're just busy with their first order priorities, which is putting out fires. So anyway, we'll do a next one. So by the time our next teleconference comes, then we'll have already responded by November 9th. So I'll draft a letter and let you guys take a look at it. Boy, I've got a lot of deadlines coming up here, so I've got a lot of, but I just thought you'll see it. And Bruce is busy dealing with Ebola. He apologized to me. I said, Mike, I've got to deal with Ebola this week.
Okay,
Thank you very much for your time. Pam.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.